Colonel, this morning, listening to this, the Russians describing this, saying that this is not a war, just an invasion. What does any of this mean?
Well, it's a war. There's no doubt about it. The question is, how is it going to end? We've been speaking a long time about Putin's slow walking this to see what kind of response he's going to get from Ukraine, what kind of response he's going to get from the West. So far, everything that we've done is something that he's planned for and he can undertake. The idea that he'll eventually take over all of Ukraine one way or another is very troubling to our allies, as is any response that we may have, including taking Russia off the SWIFT system. We've already been told by Germany, Italy, and other allies that they don't want to see us do that because it has a deleterious effect on their economies. This is very bad news for us because we don't have a plan B. We're not going to send troops in there. We're not going to fight the Russians in Ukraine. We're not going to fight anybody in Ukraine. And the only way that we can respond is through economic means. And Putin's not going to stop until he gets what he wants. This will also cause, the irony is we can't affect what's happening in Ukraine. And the only thing we can do is dire economic means. Both those and not doing anything troubles our allies. Think about our allies in Northern Europe, in the Baltic states, in Eastern Europe. If Putin is successful in restructuring Ukraine to suit Russia's own needs, the same thing is possible among NATO allies in the worst of all possible worlds, is that if he is able to, through this kind of coercion, to extract concessions from our own allies, Becky.
Colonel, if that's the case, why are our allies reluctant to remove Russian banks from the SWIFT system? I mean, if they are looking at much steeper consequences and a much more bleak outlook for the future, why are they worried about the short-term economic pain in this instance?
Because they're only worried about the short-term economic situation. They have constituencies, and they're worried about the economic situation, and they figure that the backlash from faltering economy is something that eventually will be able to be redressed without thinking about what the longer-term dysfunction is. I mean, all politicians think this way. Some business people think this way. When you plan for tomorrow and you're not planning for the day after tomorrow, the consequences for the day after tomorrow can be very bad indeed. No, I mean, they're concerned about their constituencies. And we're having, and thus the meeting, the G7 meeting, we're having a hard time convincing our allies that what they need to do is get tough with Russia, Becky.